Yeah.
Hey, everybody, we'll get started in just a couple of minutes here. Give everybody some time to log in. But for those of you that are early, we have dad jokes and mom jokes. Did you have one, Coral?
I do.
Please.
Why is a computer so smart?
I give up.
Because it listens to its motherboard.
Oh.
I like it.
What do you call a mouse that swears? A cursor.
Okay, that was good.
That's pretty good.
I got a dad joke.
Go for it.
What?
So my boy asked my husband, Dad, do you know the difference between a pack of cookies and a pack of elephants? He says, nope. He goes, well, then it's a good thing Mom does all the grocery shopping.
Putting dad in his spot. I like that. Oh, here we go.
Why do chicken coops only have 2 doors?
Why is that, Jack? And while Jack types in the answer, what is a lawyer's favorite drink? A subpoena colada.
Jack answered, why do chicken coops only have 2 doors? Because if they had 4 doors, they'd be a chicken sedan.
Right on, Jack. Keep them coming. Brett, do you have one?
I don't.
Okay. Ryan? Victoria?
Okay, why do they call it hypertext? I don't know, it's not really that funny. Let's try it. Too much Java. Get it? Like coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
As I said, I was like, it's not really that good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, why do Java developers wear glasses?
Why do Java developers wear glasses?
Because they can't see sharp.
Uh-huh.
Ooh. See, all of yours are like tech related.
I know. Well, I Googled that.
Okay.
I Googled
That's the
that.
precursor.
I Googled
Did you know
that.
that Bill Nye has a daughter that doesn't believe in science? Her name is Dee.
Yeah, I don't get that. I'm sorry.
Dee
Nye?
Nye.
Deny.
Oh, you have to say her whole name to make it. Oh, sorry.
You gotta work for that one.
Gotta work for that one. In a day, my brain stopped popping like that.
That's
I
like
need
the other one where Albert Einstein was a very smart man, but his brother Frank was a monster.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Got it?
Thank you.
I gotcha.
I need all the help I can get.
I'm still not Dave.
That's right. You are still not Dave.
Yeah.
No matter how
And
hard
Brett,
you
I
try.
just changed your name for you.
Awesome.
All right, we can go ahead and well, what do we have here? What is this about the AI assistant?
Follow along. Go ahead, click the link. There should be nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I've got a good feeling about that one.
Yeah, we have licensing.
I took care of it.
Dave, so okay. Not Dave Tuckman.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get things rolling. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to you, wherever you are tuning in from. Please be aware we are recording, so all those jokes were captured as much as everything else that we're about to cover. We do want to, as we've done with the other ones, we want to make these as open and collaborative as possible. So any questions, thoughts, comments you have, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and we'll answer them as we see them come across. And then if there's any others that make more sense to save towards the end, we'll jump in on them then. What else do we got? I'm going to drop in. We do have some upcoming events to share with everybody. If you are in San Diego and you want to hang around cyber folks at a brewery, this event is for you. We have these.
Dave, you got to change that to everyone.
What's that?
You got to change that to everyone.
Okay, that's right. Look at that. That was easy.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you. And then on Thursday, the ISACA monthly meeting will just be online. So wherever you are, if you want to check it out, join us. It is going to feature Dr. Baljeet Malhotra, who we've had before. He runs a company that helps with securing APIs. They have a lot of resources available, so there's going to be some good education on it, and he'll share what he can on what he knows and some of the resources his organization's made available. And then on June 10th, we will have the final one of this series, where we will be talking about physical security, breach and incident response. And for everybody here, Brian Kelley is going to rejoin us.
Yay.
The CISSP mentor program will wrap up. And actually, that's going to be the day I think we land in Minnesota. So that'll be a fun one to pull off from the hotel. But there's the link to that one. I'm going to drop the links in here for the recordings of the previous episodes here. And then what we're going to touch on, actually, let me do this. We're going to dive into backing up data and smart devices and the Internet of Things. So I'll drop these links in the chat in the background, and we can go ahead and kick off with backing up data. And Coral, you want to kick us off on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So starting off, question 7.1. Do you know how to back up the data that is important to you? So in parentheses behind that, we're talking about photos, videos, financial records, account logon information, contact info, maybe health records, save games, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
How do we want to answer it?
Let's go ahead and pretend we don't know.
Yeah, let's pretend we don't know.
Oh, snap. Now we got red.
Oh, we got.
Yeah.
Obviously, failing to back up the data that's important to you increases the risk that you will lose that data without the ability to recover it. What happens if you choose yes?
You've opened up a secret level.
I know, right?
Yes. But the risk has not gone away.
No, the risk has not gone away. So obviously backing up your data is important. It's an important first step. But Ryan, for maybe some people who aren't aware, what are some good backup techniques for them to back up their data at home?
Use a third-party tool to back it up. I've seen some. In fact, before or a while ago when I was at MSP, there's things out there called like Backblaze and Crash Plan, that actually installs an agent on your computer and can sit and continuously back everything up to a cloud provider. And they're relatively cheap, and it's easy to do. It's easy to set up. You just select your files that you want backed up, and it will pop an error if anything backs up or anything fails, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I know way before cloud was ever even an issue and came about, I know we were backing things up to an external hard drive just to have it separate from the PC that we were using. And it was fine, except for the backup on the external had failed. And then I didn't have that data anymore. So I ended up being one of those people who had to go through the process of trying to recover that data, right? Because of course, with me, it was a bunch of photographs of the kids, right? Because I was trying to do the smart thing. Now I think we have pretty much everything stored in the cloud, right? So
It's expensive to recover all that stuff too.
it is. It's not
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, I use OneDrive.
Yeah, just back it up to the
Yeah.
Microsoft stuff. There's a few things that I have from back in the day, like my daughter's first pictures and stuff, that I downloaded to like an SSD drive and just pulled the hard drive out and put it in my fireproof safe. So if the little plugins, if they're not IDE, I can't think of them anymore. I'm totally drawing a blank. So if the technology advances so far where I can't plug the hard drives actually into the motherboard anymore, kind of SOL. So I am taking a pretty big risk on that. But it was an easy, cheap way to do it back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be a good recommendation to double back up with the most current technology, like a Type-C drive, if you can?
It would be a great idea. Am I going to follow that? Probably not. But
Yeah.
there are some things too that I've seen some people can use like cloud emails. I like the OneDrive better. I had one person that they would zip all their like super critical documents and information like that, zip it password protected, and email it to themselves in like a Yahoo or Gmail account. So it's all cloud based. I'm not a big fan of that, but it seemed to work for them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody posted the comment of backing up really important things in triple, like a thumb drive, and NAS, and OneDrive.
Can't remember who said it, but there's a semi-famous saying that says if it's not backed up 3 times, it's not backed up.
Yeah, I remember hearing that too. I don't remember who said it either.
No. Well, if
Is
we
that-
find out, we can give them credit in the next session. Yeah. And Jack, to answer your question, yeah, we'll be recording the next one as well and make it available for everybody. Hey, I totally forgot to mention that, and it hasn't come up yet, but we are playing Secret Word of the Day. So every host here has picked a secret word, and when that word gets mentioned, noises will be made. It is inspired by our good friend, the late Pee Wee Herman. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat. If anybody's not familiar with it, Pee Wee will walk you through how the game is played. It just takes about a minute. So who here checks their backups every 90 days? I want to mark true.
Not me.
I don't.
I
Not
checked
for my
it-
personal stuff.
I checked to make sure that it actually ran without errors, right? So there's been times where I've hit my backup system and come back the next morning and there's an error on it, and then in which case I'll have to run it again, right? But 90 days from now, I don't check it unless I need it.
Okay, then we're going to follow Patrick's lead in the chat, since none of us do.
Horrible.
Patrick, do you
What's the
use,
risk if we don't? What if we say false?
we get
the risk-
red font.
The risk is that, right? Sometimes backups fail or are incomplete, right? So that's what you're concerned about, is if you have to go ahead and restore a backup, is it complete? Does it have the information that you need? I've had occasions like that where I've had data that's been compromised as I try to restore it, and I just have to roll it back even further, right?
Yeah.
I would say too, like all of my critical information, like the very sensitive pictures of my daughter, financial information, anything like that, it's all up in a cloud solution has massive redundancy that I don't really have to worry about. I hope. Fingers crossed.
You know, I am learning that I can't like give Patrick's comment in the chat an emoji.
I know. I noticed that earlier too. I was gonna
Yeah.
give somebody a little happy emoji, and nope, won't let me do that.
Yeah, so that's the reason for the lack of love there, Patrick. I really wanted to throw a heart on that one. Okay, so we're gonna change that to true. And we're gonna follow Patrick's lead.
All right. So 7.3, I
Yes,
use
ma'am.
software or apps to help me back up my data automatically and frequently.
I can take that one because that is something I do.
Yeah. Did you just say
Also,
doo-doo on a webinar?
I do.
He did.
I do.
Man, I chose the wrong word.
Right. Oh, if that would have been the secret word.
So I use OneDrive personally for my desktop and iCloud for my Apple devices. I have a MacBook and my phone. And does anybody use Android? I think we decided we don't. Is theirs just the Google Drive is what they use for their cloud storage?
I don't know. That's actually a good question.
That's a good question.
I'm an iPhone
not
guy.
100% sure.
Somebody's got an answer out there.
Yeah, or we can ask Brett next month, or Brian next month. He was the Android representative.
Jack says Dropbox.
Okay. Yeah. Right on. Okay, so that, and if we don't, what happens? Bad stuff, man.
Yeah, so not using something that's automatic or that's frequent increases the risk of obviously not having the data when you need it.
Yeah, we're like it says forgetting the backup, you know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say true. Oh, this is a shorter section.
It is very short. All right, so I use cloud storage service or have a physical location far away from my home or business that I use to store my backups. So, Ryan, in your case, is your safe at the bank?
No.
No.
But like I said, all my critical stuff is in SaaS solutions or online things like that, so I would say that. But that is a good question for conversation is what if you do have a external drive, all your critical information is there, and you have it stored in a fireproof safe? Is that good enough?
Say that again. Sorry, I was reading Jack's note there.
So if you have backup everything to an external hard drive and you have it sitting in a fireproof safe or some type of, environmentally controlled environment, is that good enough for you?
Well, what if the safe gets stolen?
Exactly. I was gonna say if you don't have a fire, but someone takes it or knows the code to it or has the key to it.
Even if you have a fire, if it's in your basement and everything else is gone, just think of all the debris you got to get through to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, how do you know how good it is in a fire? Do you test it in a fire first before you put something
The only
in
thing
it?
you have to be able to base it on.
Yeah, you get 2 hard drives. And
Yeah.
2
I think that's where your recommendation of at least having a duplicate backup, if not triple redundancy, right, is going to help you out, which in this case, having some sort of cloud application or service to use for a backup would be extremely beneficial.
Or what do they call those when there's like that hole in the ground surfaces and it just swallows everything up? They happen in
A
Florida.
sinkhole?
Sinkhole?
Yeah. Yeah, good luck getting your hard drive out of that sinkhole.
Oh yeah, no.
Wow, you went dark with that one, Dave.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I guess the sinkhole
That's
could
a real
open up.
thing, though.
I know. They open up everywhere.
I went dark without even knowing what the word was. So thank you. Yeah. Okay.
You know, Jack brings up a good recommendation here. It's pretty easy nowadays because everybody is geared towards their calendars. Just put a reminder on your calendar every 90 days to go ahead and check your backups or to complete your backups, right? If that's the case, but we do that a lot with our calendars too. At this point, you just need to go ahead, and there's so many things going on and so many things that people are doing, whether it's work related or personal. I think everybody's living by their calendar these days.
Yeah. No, it's excellent advice, but do you do that, Jack? Or are you just preaching to us?
That's what we do, right?
Right. That's what
Do
Jack
as we
does
say,
too.
not as we do.
I was gonna say, isn't that like a parent? Do as I say, not as I do.
Well, there's a good question from Alex.
Do you encrypt your backups if you're uploading them to the cloud? That's a great question.
Or I think just encrypting, even if it's on something physical that you're keeping at your house, are those encrypted?
Yeah.
Do you ever use like risk management processes and depend on what's on there? Like, if you have a hard drive where you're sending up to the cloud and they're just pictures of your kids, do you go through the effort of encrypting that?
No, I'm kind of like John at this point, where I'm reliant on the cloud service provider to make sure that in transit and at rest is encrypted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas, so then the other part of that question, if you had to like write your social security number down on a Word document and save that to your cloud solution, would you encrypt that?
I would not do that.
You would not encrypt it?
No, I would not put my social security into anything.
I'm just saying if you did. You know, I'm trying to find the demarcation line. Where do you encrypt?
Yeah.
Where do you not encrypt? I mean, I would never do that either, but
Yeah, it's all about it's all about the level of risk that you're willing to take, right, with your information. I think the downside of that is with all the breaches that are happening, right? Most people, and my uncle, he's one of those people. He's like, everybody else already has my social security social security number. I don't need it anymore. I'm like, okay, but still, you still need to be aware of how it's being used. You may not need it anymore, but you still need to be aware of how it's being used.
right. You know,
See,
and with
Ryan? Oh, go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
said with the encryption too. I mean, some things are a little bit quicker than that, but I remember back in the day when we'd encrypt tapes at that hospital, they could take forever depending on the data. You know, I could slap a backup on there and it would take 45 minutes for the entire thing. If I encrypted it, it could take 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then also to unencrypt it, and when you have to restore something at 1:30 in the morning and you sit and watch those little blue dots go, you're really tempted not to encrypt it. But we did. Still.
Well, I was just going to say joke's on you because I don't have a social security number. No, there's actually.
All right, challenge number 2: find Dave Tuckman's social security number on the internet.
Yeah. Game on. Okay. So
I'm your manager. I might actually be able to see that in Paylocity.
Oh, snap.
yeah, I'd like to see you figure out how I got hired.
Oh,
Under those parameters, Mr. Manager. Yeah. Okay, so the other thing, just on 7.5, and I'll go ahead and mark false so we see what it tells us. But that it's far away from home, just if there's like a natural disaster or something like that. Back to your safe thing.
well, and assuming that Ryan doesn't live in Tornado Alley, right? Even if it's in a safe, if there's a tornado that blows through and the tornado takes the safe, he may not have it anymore, but is it still safe? I don't know.
Yeah. It's a little hard drive popping around in a safe, about 1.5 miles up, getting tossed around in a tornado.
Right.
Maybe
Where's the
Patrick
wood-
knows the
wood's gonna
answer to
land
that
on?
one. I do not. Okay, so
Yeah,
we're
our
gonna go.
safe's tornado rated.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know.
I don't know either.
That's what makes these sessions so educational. All these other things that we don't know.
You ready for 7.6?
I believe so.
Okay, good.
Yes.
My backups are protected with password and encryption. So we already talked about the encryption piece. Does anyone protect them with a password too?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
Yeah.
I'll punt it over to Brett.
I don't. We have work files that are password protected with encryption, but for my personal stuff at home, I don't recall ever putting a password on a file or a folder.
You know, would you consider this? So OneDrive, to access where all your files are, your backups, you need to know your Microsoft information, username, and password to even get to that. Would you consider that password protected?
I would,
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
well.
especially if MFA is enabled. On
I was
it.
going to say only if
well.
there's MFA enabled as well, but if it's just the username and password, probably not well.
yeah.
But like BitLocker, you know, when I have things backed up and then I have enabled BitLocker on it, right? That requires a password. In order to encrypt, decrypt. So
True.
But either way, if somebody gets your device, well, then they're just logged into your OneDrive also. Obviously, a lot less likely that somebody's going to hack you from your device, but another risk.
You don't have a password on your login for your home computer?
Oh, yeah. If somebody gets it, though, they can bypass that stuff. I got tools.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah, tools.
16-digit PIN on my computer at home. Thank you very much.
Ooh, little chest beating going on there. Yeah.
So it's
I
not
like it.
1111.
No
or your phone number,
letters,
address.
letters and symbols included.
House number.
Birth date.
Both pets.
children
Yeah.
birthday.
Go ahead and mark false, Dave.
Okay.
Let's see what happens here.
And Patrick, actually, what we were talking about was we took the same safe, but not exposing it to fire and exposing it to a tornado. How safe would the hard drive be within that safe? And I don't know what category tornado we're describing yet, but it was a big one. So,
There you go. Yep, not protecting your backups leaves you vulnerable for theft and or corruption.
we should say true.
We should say true.
Yeah. We
Makes
should
the
say
score
we
look
should
better.
do it. Yeah.
You know, a good question too is everyone who's backing up to like an external hard drive or something like that, that is not encrypting or passwording it, and you get a new one, do you dispose of the old one? Like destroy it, or do you just say, I'm done with this one, throw it away?
Man, I will openly admit I have a lot of external drives that have data on them, but they're all locked up. But I should absolutely be destroying them since I'm not using them.
Are they in a safe?
They're locked up. They are not in a safe, but they are in a locked cabinet.
Okay.
I have one right here. I can sit exactly where I am. There's 5. There's 2 there, 1 there, and 2. Oh yeah, here. You want a stack?
No.
Stack of hard drives with that laptop one on top.
Oh, Victoria, I thought you trained Ryan better.
Yeah,
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Don't ask me what I'm doing with them.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. So if it were a tornado rating 5,
Yeah, 5.
this is safe would be badly mangled. Not sure how to qualify or quantify. Well,
I would even
Patrick,
say, yeah, what Patrick says too exceeds the number of G's. So imagine that little hard drive sitting in that safe and that thing spinning around and just bouncing off the walls. Not to mention if a tornado is powerful enough to pick that safe up, it's going to shoot it miles away and land in a cornfield somewhere or through someone's house. You'll probably never get it back anyways.
My luck, it would, land in a tree, and the tree branch would go right through the drive itself, right? Because at that point, it's going through such force and acceleration. Be like, oh, hey, there's my safe. Oh, and that was my hard drive. Thanks.
I always wondered if hard drives could tell their stories, but I never realized one might have these stories to tell. Okay, so for anybody, on a somewhat serious note, for anybody that is interested in the platform here, this is available to everybody. It's at s2me.io. I'll drop that in the chat. And the way this works, so you can kind of score yourself, is if you would have said true to everything, you get an 850. 850 represents perfect. And if we would have said false to everything, we land with a 300. We're not always trying to be perfect, but we're trying to not be a 300 either. If you can get over 660. And here, I will drop that link in the chat. Are we ready to go to the next section?
I'm going to cover one quick comment from Dorothy in the chat there. She says, I went to the RSA conference last week, and the primary target of most popular malware programs is the cryptocurrency. If the cryptocurrency wallet private key is on a hard drive, you should move that to an air-gapped hardware device. So,
What does air gap mean? Anybody?
No outside internet access. You can't talk. Well, I don't think you can talk to networks, period.
yeah,
So
it's not connected.
Completely isolated.
that's where you drop the USB in the parking lot and hope somebody plugs it in, or have a spy like the.
Our people do that actually as tests. We get hired to do that.
Did you just say doo-doo too? Man,
did.
I chose the wrong.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say womp womp because I chose the wrong word.
I didn't even notice, honestly. It's just natural.
It's a Minnesotan thing.
It
Leave
must
us alone.
be. It must be. Ah,
All right, I'm going to go to the next topic.
let's do it.
Topic number 8, smart devices and the Internet of Things, so IoT. First question, do you have any smart enabled devices? These are devices with an internet connection, IoT. Smart TVs, iWatches, Alexas, Google Homes, Rings, Nests, Wi-Fi cameras, etc., etc., etc. Victoria, do you have any of these?
Yes, I do. Even though I hate them, I finally gave in to a smart doorbell. I hate them though.
Why? Why do you hate them?
Oh, they're so secure. Why wouldn't I love them? I just, it's just the more you have, it's like trying to herd cats, I physically can walk places still and turn things on manually. So I just like to do that instead. But yeah, I do. I have them. I have a smart doorbell, but that's it. That's where I draw the line.
That's
Was
it.
that your husband's idea?
No, it was mine.
Oh,
So let me ask you this though: is a trade-off to be able to see who's coming up to your door worth the potential risk to all of your network, your environment, basically?
And that's why I made the decision, right? Because we're having an issue with a contractor, and I was like, the heck if I'm not going to know that he's maybe approached our house again, because he did. And it kind of freaked me out that I didn't even know that he had been on our front porch and stuff. So then I got the doorbell, right? But yeah, that's exactly what I did. I leveled the risk.
and can you talk to him from that if you're not at home?
Yes. Yep.
So
Yep.
so you can give the illusion that you are there.
Correct. Yeah. So
I will admit that it provides a good convenience, right? To have something like that. In my case, I do have my kids at home. If we're out and about, it's nice to know if there's somebody that comes to the door, even though I tell them don't answer the door. It's always nice to know if somebody's ringing it, I can see who's there and who's coming, right? if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brett, what smart devices do you have?
I have a Nest thermostat, which I love because when I'm cold in the middle of the night, I don't want to walk upstairs to turn up the heat. And I have exterior cameras, 4 of them facing not a doorbell camera, but one that faces the front porch, watches both sides, and one in the backyard. I got my kiddos playing back there, so I'm like, take this stuff really crazy, probably more than I should, but that's it.
Coral.
I have a smart TV, and the doorbell. And then we
Oh, I
do
forgot.
have, the Alexa. We do have an Alexa and those types of things, and I'll be honest, we are not great. I mean, they're super handy to have, right? It's all about convenience. We are not the best at making sure that they're up to date, that they're secure. My Wi-Fi is secure, right? My home network is secure. So I have it protected from the outer layer, but I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to the device itself. I probably should pay a little more attention to it. What about you, Dave?
I have the doorbell and a smart TV that my son uses. And we have those, and what I was going to say was that we have their connectivity is on a separate Wi-Fi network to keep them off of where the other computers and stuff like that are. That's what I do to feel good about myself.
Do you connect the TVs to the internet?
One
Correctly?
of them, yeah, one of them is, yeah, for Netflix.
I have 3 smart TVs, but they're all network disabled with third-party devices that connect to them.
Oh, that's interesting.
What do you mean
I
by
think-
third party?
Like an
device?
Apple TV. I have 2 Apple TVs.
Oh, gotcha. So the TV's not connected.
Correct.
So the vulnerabilities with the Apple device.
Exactly.
We transferred over.
Do they still make TVs that aren't smart devices?
I still have a smart TV. Right when you said smart TV, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that does fall into the category. So I have those too.
They do make them. It's really hard to find them.
Is it?
Mhm.
How about you, Ryan? What sort of smart stuff are you sporting over there?
Everything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He has it all.
Yeah, nothing that's connected. I mean, I have 3 different TVs that are smart capable, but like Brett, none of them's connected. I just use a Roku.
But doesn't that use your Wi-Fi? Isn't that considered an IoT then?
I would say it's not an IoT. It'd be a third-party
Oh.
device.
Oh,
How is a third party device not an IoT device?
thank you, Dave.
Well, if you're gonna make that distinction, can't you say that every single computer and phone that's connected to your wireless is a IoT type thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like a coffee maker. It's not like a fridge or anything like that. I interact with my Roku just like I interact with my phone. I can go do updates very easily. It's not just creating coffee for me or telling me automatically connect to the internet to tell me that I'm out of bananas in the fridge.
So where would that refrigerator be?
In my kitchen? Or you mean?
Set up.
Wondering where you're going with that one.
I was
I'll
like,
clap
where,
on that one. That was good.
where, what a weird question.
Yeah, wow.
I was thinking about the
I
old
think, like-
school joke, like, is your refrigerator running? You better go
catch it.
Better go
Yeah,
catch
right?
it.
I
Yeah.
was thinking like the spectrum of IoT to like non-IoT devices is what you're asking. But
Yeah.
kitchen. All right. Touche.
All right. So we're all guilty of IoTs.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how to avoid it. I mean,
You can't
maybe
really
if you're
anymore.
Amish, you know.
You just have to limit it and make sure that you know it. To me, it all goes down to inventory. You know, you can have a million different IoT things in your sometimes I put bananas in my fridge.
I know that's what I'm laughing at.
Finally, someone's asking the real
Yeah,
questions
Ryan.
here.
Well,
Yeah.
beer. Okay, it's beer in the fridge.
Yeah.
I think it goes down to you can have as many IoT things as you want as long as you know what they are and you're keeping them up to date.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. But you can't avoid them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Coral, we clicked yes. And can we,
do you want to know the risk? The risk, obviously,
okay.
even though it's super convenient, right? The risk is that it can become a safety and privacy nightmare if they're not well secured, right? So it's knowing what you have and making sure that A, it's up to date and that it's secure. Easier said than done, I think, for most people.
Yeah. Do we know how to change passwords on our smart devices?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I bet Brett does too.
What if we have some brand new refrigerator that we haven't learned about yet?
You better start reading the manual.
Well, then we would
Get up to speed on the app so that you can figure it out via the app.
That's what would happen, Brett.
Yeah. Do you always download the app when you get a smart device like a dryer or a fridge or something like that that can't connect but has to go through an app?
I've had friends tell me that they actually can't connect anywhere else but the app that it comes with. So they don't have an option.
Yeah.
And
so they can't use the
they can't
machine without it.
Yeah, correct, right? They can't use the machine without it. They can't log into like a link on the web, like a portal. They can't do it that way. It has to be through the app, and all management goes through the app.
I don't like that.
I don't either.
I think a lot
I
of
don't have one of
Samsung
those.
stuff is like that.
Yeah, and actually, as we're talking about it, we do have a third device, which is a water softener, and there's an app for that. You have the controls for the water softener, or it doesn't connect to the internet, or at least that's what the salesman told me. But it does connect to the Wi-Fi to be able to manage the water softener. And like all the indicators of the salt's getting low or something like that come through the app.
Wow.
Interesting.
And what about all the devices that have to connect to your phone Bluetooth? So they're sending a Bluetooth signal out, and if you have something like in a high-rise apartment, you're broadcasting that Bluetooth signal out. Can't people just jump on that?
People who know what they're doing can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyone else can.
even just on the Wi-Fi, if it's not an apartment or, yeah. We had a neighbor that had, and this is a true story, that had a Wi-Fi SSID called, it was something about Trump and his orange hair. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, but it was like big bad orange hair was the SSID.
I have somebody in my neighborhood who's broadcasting, and it is the FBI surveillance van number 7.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Number 7,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, ready? So I'm gonna, well, no, because we really, are we saying true?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, here's the question though. And I don't know if maybe I'm jumping, but you know how to create and change the password, but do you? And how often?
You got me on that second question.
And
often?
a follow-up
How
question.
often?
Is it a simple password or is it complex?
Mm-hmm. I know I've changed mine because I use my vault now and I just get a little crazy. Now my husband has to come to me for the vault because he obviously doesn't have access to it. But
Ooh.
I know I do.
There is a chat that says, yes, please change admin.
Or test.
Yeah.
If you're a
Or-
developer out there, change the test one, please.
Or the 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah, change it from.
Yeah,
with
don't
S.
change
Yeah,
it to
from, not
those.
to.
No,
That
no,
is
no,
my
no.
mistake.
Correct.
Ah,
Okay. I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna say false just so we see what it says, but then I'm gonna change it to true because I do like me some complex passwords.
And this is a tough one because I mean, like a network printer that you have to use a little circular panel on the front to type in a capital A to lowercase a to whatever. Putting a complex password in there is kind of a pain in the butt.
It is a royal pain.
Especially when you have to do it once and then verify it.
Yeah.
Just verify the password.
Yeah, so then you reset it, do it again, and yeah.
You're like, oh no, not again.
Oh, my favorite is
That's
that when you
never
try and
happened.
change it, it says, "Oh, it can't be the existing password." It's like,
Oh, I love it when you do like complexity with special characters, and it doesn't tell you which one, but it says, "Oh, you can't. Unauthorized character is used."
Yeah,
Yes.
It won't
which
tell you
one?
Which one?
hmm
yes. Or when I try to do a passphrase, it doesn't like my spacing, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be secure here. You're not
Right.
letting me.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Okay.
challenging.
that one's gonna go to true. Wow, there's only a couple more.
Yeah, 8.4.
Go for it.
All right, 8.4. I know how to put smart devices on a separate Wi-Fi network and how to change the internet sharing settings if my smart device is capable of sharing internet. So a guest Wi-Fi, Amazon Sidewalk settings.
Mm.
Okay, who here knows what an Amazon sidewalk is?
I do not.
I do not either.
Wait, is it that thing that they kind of got in hot water for because then people could like
Oh, was this where they were like
tracking?
wanting to do Wi-Fi sharing?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah, there was an opt-out option,
But you
wasn't
never
there?
run out of Wi-Fi, even if you're in public, like in a neighborhood somewhere or something. Is that the same thing? Or am I thinking of something else that they did?
No,
Or is that Google?
No, Amazon did
it's-
do something like that where they were trying
Yeah.
to say, hey, we can use your extra bandwidth for your neighbor.
Yeah. As long as you had like a token or something
Look
like
at-
that, then it would talk to other ones that had the same kind of
Brett, can you
setup.
Google Amazon sidewalk and verify that's what it is? Because I totally remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it got
I remember them trying to give the feature of disabling or enabling.
Well, it was enabled by default.
mm-hmm. And they got in big hot water about it. And then it kind of like got pulled back because they kept trying to promote it as like this is going to help other people.
It says the sidewalk setting only appears when you have a compatible, Echo device linked to your Amazon account.
Or Ring security cameras, outdoor
And
lights, motion sensors, and tile trackers.
there you go. The website version of the Alexa app doesn't show that setting. Go figure.
I'm sure that was just an oversight.
Oh,
Of course.
absolutely.
Sure.
Nothing's intentional.
says
That's
over
what the folks at
90%,
legal told us. So it's gotta be true.
over 90% coverage for US citizens.
Yuck.
Oh, that's a lot.
Free to connect community network. Yep.
Now I know Xfinity has that where they have towers all over the place where you can connect to Wi-Fi like out in the open, but you have to be a paid customer and use your login settings. That makes a little
But
more
that's
sense.
to their stuff, right? Not
Yeah, not connecting to
somebody's
other
personal home.
devices. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what bothers me. But anyway, teach their own.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, so back to the separate Wi-Fi network and how to change it.
Well, we don't do that. So
I
we
know
can
I don't.
snap, there's just risks at every turn.
I was gonna say
You know?
there's a whole bunch of risk here.
Yeah, 4 sessions in, I'm starting to detect a pattern. Yeah,
Chief,
and this is, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say you have a separate Wi-Fi for guests that come over to your house, right? Do you?
I do.
Yes. The problem that I have here is that there's only two Wi-Fis. I actually need to upgrade to something that'll have more than two SSIDs. So with the way the family runs things here, I took one of the SSIDs for myself. That's where I circled the wagons,
Good.
you know, and then it's kind of the Wild West for what the family does. And I just stay off that one, and they do not have the password to the SSID that I use.
Good. Brett, you said you had two of them at your house?
We had talked last session, but I think most of us have two or three. I know me and Ryan have more than two. I have one just for the IoT devices. You know, as long as you're putting it on the guest Wi-Fi, I suppose that's okay. I prefer to have one more, just to keep guests' devices away from those IoT devices. And it's really simple. I mean, cheap routers nowadays, really easy to toggle these things on and off, adding a guest network,
Yeah.
adding a third one.
I've
The
seen it
new
here with my
technology.
kids, I mean, I have a middle schooler and a couple of elementary school kids, and it's interesting, even when the kids have play dates, it's the first thing that their friends are asking for. They'll come up to me and they'll be like, "What's your Wi-Fi password?" I'm like, "Excuse me?"
Talk to your
No.
mother like that.
No, the answer is no. Go away.
They don't
Yeah.
want to get yelled at for using all the data.
Right.
So Brett, how many SSIDs did you say that yours has?
I have 4, 3 are in use. I have a 6G one or Wi-Fi 6 or 7 that most devices aren't capable of. So there's a fourth that nothing can connect to yet.
Which one do you have?
I have a TP
Not
link,
that we'll hack it.
Archer.
What's that
Like
IP range?
Yeah.
Hey, 107. No.
Yeah. And what did you say the password was?
You like your TP link?
I love it.
Okay.
Absolutely love it. Tons of functionality, pretty easy to handle. Yeah.
Marcus is laughing at my no. My no is
Yeah.
not a good password. It is to me, Pat. It is. It is to me. It's a good password. No.
Patrick, would you drop in the chat which one you have that supports 4? Because I'm capped at 2. That's mine.
Yeah, I think that's what I've got at mine is 2. And I think that's the cap for me.
Okay, yeah, and that's why I just circled the wagons and said,
Yeah,
just save one of them and throw the other
to the wolves.
Yeah, it's kind of like when the zombie attack and they say you don't have to be the fastest one, just don't be the slowest. Kind of throw that other Wi-Fi out there as chum.
So when you set up your second, was it like a guest toggle? Really simple, just clicking a button and
Gosh, it was so long ago.
the
I don't
guest
remember.
pops up.
I'll have to dig into it and find out again.
Well, there are like you could go in there. It was essentially, you could call it a guest one and it was named guest, but it was really just 2 SSIDs. So I just renamed one to the one that I use, and then the other one to the family. Okay, so we'll change that to true.
Brett, I think somebody's asking what model.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna see if my Micro Center order can give me that. Well, I suppose I could just go to my
Micro Center
admin login.
Or that too.
And Marcus, if you want to drop in a recommended password for Coral, you can just copy and paste it from there.
I was just going to ask Brett for his username and password since he's just going to log into the portal here. Make my life easier.
Well, you're not going to be able to get to my private IP.
Okay, you want to read the next one there, Coral?
Last one. I think it's the last question. Yeah.
It actually is, yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna be able to let everybody go a little early
All
tonight.
right. 8.5. I have automatic security updates turned on for my smart devices that are capable of being updated. Victoria, what's your answer there? She leave me?
No, I'm here.
No,
She's thinking.
no.
She's
No,
thinking.
If you're gonna
I'm
delay
not
that long, it's a
thinking.
false.
I'm just ashamed of
She's like-
ashamed.
She's like, are you throwing me under the bus? Then I don't want to answer.
It's fine. I'll take one for the team if that helps people learn. It's fine.
There you go.
That's the attitude.
That's right. But yeah, no, I don't for at least my IoT stuff, right? I manually will push it out because sometimes, I want to watch a show and I don't want it to update in that moment. So I say no.
I say no.
Yeah. I want my Netflix. Darn
All
it.
right. Right. I need my downtime. Come on.
That's right.
How about you,
Interrupting.
Ryan?
I haven't set to automatically update. Well, if we consider the discussion on the Rokus, yeah, they'll automatically update it when it comes through. Other than that, I don't have any other smart devices really plugged in or connected.
What if your TV's old enough that there are no more updates available?
Ooh,
Oh.
question.
But it's smart.
Oh.
Well, either you go get a new one or you disconnect the internet. Disconnect it. You can go buy Rokus, like 4K Rokus, little sticks for $40. And every TV in the last few years at least has a single HDMI port. Just plug it in there and connect that to the internet.
And I was going really old school. I was like, I think you might be able to find a VCR still if you want to hook that up to it.
I miss
Yeah,
those days.
I'm
I want a
limited to the
VCR.
number of cable connections I have. The round threaded ones. I love it because my son will come up and go, "What's that for?" You remember before the pandemic? No, I don't.
Patrick's asking about coax.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
Oh geez.
I still got a coax antenna laying around somewhere.
Don't you miss those days sometimes though? I mean, sometimes, not all the time, because I do like today's conveniences. But God,
Has anyone ever dealt with a token ring network?
No, but I've learned about them studying for my Network Plus.
Right?
Those
Yeah.
suck.
Just online. Man.
as I
Yeah.
said, I don't
You
miss
type
all
it
of
up.
it.
And it's all coax all the way through. You type in what you want, and it sits there and waits until it's your turn. Then all of a sudden it goes and waits and horrible. I had to
Which is
support
why we
those
don't
back
see
in the
them
day.
anymore.
Nope.
Everyone learned the hard way.
Do
These
you,
are
do you
not
guys
fun.
think that this last one should even be on the user at this point? Should automatic updates just be built in? You can't even turn it off.
I'd like to say yes, but I come from a healthcare background and medical devices that would seriously fry the medical devices if that was enabled.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
that's a good demarc point, though. So if you're gonna have a TV and you're gonna have Rokus, you have refrigerators, you have stuff like that, why not just have it automatically updated? Which I don't see a lot of people like going into the refrigerator on the little display, doing a lot of like back end customizations on the code that will tweak things where an update like a full on OS update will break that, like the medical devices. Plus, I don't know anyone whose life is dependent on the refrigerator, compared to a medical device.
Okay, we
Victoria
have-
would like to
yeah.
argue with you.
Yeah.
I would like to eat non-spoiled food, thank you.
Yeah.
You can pick up the phone and order. If you're in life support in a hospital and you have a medical device plugged in, yeah, that's your life.
Right.
So while I agree with you, Coral, that's medical devices, yes, those should not be automatically updated. Home things that are used, I don't see why not.
Well, I think of like my iPhone, right? I have that set for auto update. If I don't see it and I push it out manually, it's going to do it for me. So I know either way I'm covered, and it's going to do it within a timely manner that the update gets rolled out. So I agree. I don't see why like the home devices need to be manually done every time.
Mhm.
Well, and what's the risk, right? So there's two sides to every coin, right? So what's the risk of not doing it? Right?
Vulnerabilities, people getting into your network, exploiting things.
Yeah, you see the red font on the screen.
Like
what about the stability of your device? Now
well,
we're talking.
That's the other side of the coin.
Hopefully,
right?
that's
I
what
was
they're
just describing what's on
part
the
of what they're
side.
fixing.
I'm kind of with Victoria. I don't want, if I have a smart fridge, I don't want my food to spoil because it rolled out an update and it just crashed the system.
What if it's going to spoil because the update doesn't get pushed out by you?
Ah, see.
Yeah.
Oh, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, nobody's looking out for the bananas.
Oh, totally not.
Scenario.
Those cold bananas. They can't be room temperature.
Poor ass bananas, just
protect the beer.
That's right.
Put it in the refrigerator.
Should have a separate fridge for that with a backup generator.
Right.
That's not
and
smart enabled.
That's not smart.
Air gapped.
I have a beer fridge in my garage that's connected to a line that is potentially, I won't admit it, but is potentially on a backed up power line.
So Ryan, just to follow your train of thought there, any thoughts on where that demarcation point could be? I mean, I totally agree with you on, medical devices.
The way I would honestly do it, by default, I think every home device should come as automatic updates are enabled, with the ability for the user to go in and shut them off.
Because that would require they knew how to do it.
Exactly. So they can kind of, just by the fact that they're doing it, gives them some ability to do it, or some knowledge on what they are doing. Obviously, then anything like in the medical side, any professional type thing. So if you have like an enterprise type thing versus residential, any residential should be set for that. Any enterprise regulation. Oh no, did it?
Yeah.
I heard you say it. I don't have a noisemaker. Womp womp. Here you go.
Anything like that should be set to have user interaction. But then you look at like the medical devices, government things, military things. They usually have professional people who are there supporting those.
It's true.
And researching the patches and the updates if they can be applied in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and Patrick had a good comment on there, medical, aircraft, and automotive. Because remember, it was like 4 months ago or so where Rivian pushed out an update on all their electric trucks and it bricked them.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it would really suck if you're flying in a 727 and it connects to the internet and does an update in midair and just tanks.
Well, can you imagine going to Tesla's support with what they're going through? There was actually a thing online where somebody had a Tesla truck for 35 days. They had a picture of the radiator fluid leaking on the ground, and Tesla said that's not covered under warranty. Had nothing to do with what we're talking about. It was just a 35. I mean, you paid a lot of money for that questionable looking vehicle in its own, and then putting green fluid spilling out from underneath it it made it more colorful, but not functional.
Dorothy says that Tesla doesn't have a radiator.
Fine, I'll look up the article.
I was gonna say Google. Yeah, fine. Listen to me. Fine.
Fine. Game on.
I do know they don't have sensors apparently like on their trunk or anything. So like if something gets in the way, you are going to get like a lost appendage.
They do. So I saw a video of it, and the guy actually had he put several things in between when it was coming down.
Yeah.
And if it was large enough, it would hit it and then go back up.
So but it has to be large enough.
The final test, and he stuck his finger there, and it went down, and it was so funny because it actually locked, and he's like, "Oh my god, I can't get it out."
Oh,
so it has to be the diameter of a little bit more than a finger.
So your head, it has to be a head, or everything else is game. Okay, that's neat.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a radiator heater exchange or whatever. But I just dropped the link to what I had found. Just really makes you want to run out and get one of these things.
I mean, they're always at DEF CON with a Tesla or two, and the challenge is to break them, and people do. So that gives you something. You can use
That's
a
not
Flipper Zero and
surprising.
open up the tank, and the
Yeah.
Flipper Zero is pretty cheap. So they're pretty flimsy.
They're not foolproof.
No,
Mm.
No.
no.
So Patrick's back to asking the real questions.
What's that?
Is a heat exchanger a fancy word for radiator?
Oh, my brain hurts with that question.
Dude, just
I-
give me
I
a
don't- I don't-
1986 Cadillac DeVille. Okay, just let's
Yeah.
be done.
Speaking of, if anyone is in the southern Minnesota area and has something like that, like a late 70s Ford LTD for sale, please let me know. My daughter will be driving soon, and I want to put a foot of steel around her.
Yeah. And Patrick, my apologies. I interpreted that as a question, not a statement. So yeah.
There you
Cool.
go. See, we learned something new, right? We all learned something
Right.
today.
Each time we do. Cool. Well, we can go ahead and wrap up early unless anybody online or
Jack, I have looked at Humvees on the Gov Planet sites, the auction sites. Yes.
So much gas,
It's in
though.
consideration.
Yeah.
I don't want her driving out of town.
oh, for her.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Just get a tank.
Just get a tank.
You can't afford to leave town.
That's the goal.
I wonder what the insurance would be like on that. Get a Panzer. Oh my God. Yeah. Too funny.
That is. All right. Well, do you guys want to go ahead and just wrap up early?
Sure. Oh,
Or do we have
nope. Sorry, I thought we had another question, but we got it taken care of. So
Yeah.
any last questions online? Jack, do you have a question? Would you like to learn something from Patrick? We'll just
I think we could all learn something from both of them, honestly.
Yes.
absolutely. And I joke, but Jack's a real smart guy and a good friend. So tell Patrick what you do, Jack.
sit and make comments.
Sit and make comments. Awesome.
That's a pretty accurate description. He's an educator. All righty. Well, we'll let everybody go. Thank you so much. And we'll be back next month to wrap up this series. And Coral, if I can share it, we are having talks with the group here and everything to see if we can kind of continue these going on moving forward, but just on different topics and things. So if anybody has any thoughts on topics you'd like to have us cover, shoot us an email. Probably best to send it to ISACA San Diego at gmail.com. And
Dave, I was totally going to throw you under the bus and put your personal email in there, dude.
you want to just copy and paste it in there?
If you have any questions, concerns, comments, just email Dave.
Yeah.
Hi.
Cool.
Wave. All right. See you. Bye.
Oh, no, take the blur off.
Take the blur off.
Yeah. Or is it?
Here we go. Come here.
Bring him back.
This is my boy.
Yeah.
Wave.
Give us a peace sign.
Peace.
Peace. There you go. I love it.
Does he get a treat now?
Yeah,
For
he's
doing all
asking for
those-
he's asking for chocolate. He's
Oh,
like,
perfect.
I've been quiet the whole time, Mom. He's like, can I have a piece of chocolate now?
I did what you. Yeah, I
Victoria,
did. He
like
did
that.
his part.
He's like a little dog. Does he get a treat?
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Jack. Yeah. Now, thanks everyone. Totally. These wouldn't be the same without everybody's participation. So very much enjoyed.
Appreciate it. See you next time.
Thanks.
Right
Thanks,
on.
everyone.
Thanks. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.